The greatest footballing event on the planet, FIFA World Cup 2022, was scheduled to start on November 21st, 2022 in Qatar. This is the first time that the FIFA World Cup is being held in the Middle East, and the second time it is being hosted by an Asian nation. The country, which attracts tourists all across the globe, promises to be the most expensive World Cup ever. In this video, we are going to discuss the world's most expensive World Cup. The video is going to be amazing, so make sure you stick to the end. Before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe and leave a comment below. I subscribed. We will try to personally reply to each and every one of your comments. Now let's begin with the world's most expensive World Cup. Qatar's $300 billion cost is hugely higher compared with Russia to organize the FIFA World Cup in 2018, $15 billion for Brazil in 2014, and $3.6 billion for South Africa in 2010. Before that, Germany spent $4.3 billion in 2006, Japan shelled out $7 billion in 2002, France $2.3 billion in 1998, and the US $500 million in 1994. It was back in December 2010 that former FIFA president Sepp Blatter announced that Qatar would host the 2022 World Cup, sparking wild celebrations on the street of Doha. In the 12 years that followed, Qatar launched the largest infrastructure project in World Cup history to ensure that stadiums, transport links, airports, and accommodation facilities would be ready in time for the big kickoff. Qatar has built 6 new stadiums and renovated 2 existing ones, along with training sites, at a total cost of $6.5 billion to $10 billion, a significant increase from the proposed $4 billion in the initial bid. The rest, about $300 billion, is associated with the costs of developing airports, new roads, innovative hubs with hotels, and sophisticated underground transportation, among others, according to U.S. sports finance consultancy Front Office Sports. In Doha alone, over $15 billion was spent on an accommodation complex known as the Pearl, and while $36 billion was shelled out on the Doha Metro. According to Russia's new agency, TASS, Qatar's finance ministers admitted to spending $500 million per week for years during the course of the infrastructure project. People of all races, nationalities, beliefs, and orientations will gather here in Qatar and around screens across the continents to share in the exciting moments, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani told the crowd in a tent-shaped stadium. How lovely it is that people can put aside what divides them to celebrate their diversity and what brings them together at the same time, the Emir said in the ceremony, during which he kissed the hand of his father, who abdicated in 2013. A huge migrant workforce was recruited to build the World Cup infrastructure, with hundreds of thousands of workers arriving from countries such as India, Nepal, and Bangladesh. Many of those workers were reportedly required to pay fees of up to $4,000 in order to secure contracts in Qatar, on the promise of well-paid work and good conditions. During the course of the 12-year World Cup infrastructure project, workers returned home from Qatar reporting low pay of under $1 per hour across 12-hour shifts, including during the summer months when temperatures in Qatar would reach 43 degrees Celsius. Global criticism prompted Qatar to introduce changes to its labor policy in the build-up to the tournament, including a minimum wage of 1,000 riyals, or $275 per month. Close to 3 million tickets, almost all the available seats, have been sold by mid-October. Alongside Qatar residents, people from Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates were among the top buyers, FIFA has said. Fans from the US, Mexico, Britain, France, Argentina, Brazil, and Germany are also set to arrive in Doha, while COVID restrictions are keeping visitors from China away. Qatar has also turned to its neighbors for help. Close to 100 daily return flights between Doha and other major Middle Eastern cities will allow visitors to stay outside the tiny Gulf state. Dubai has especially seen a surge in demand for hotel rooms. Tickets to football matches in Qatar cost an average of £286 per seat, compared with £214 in the 2018 edition in Russia. The ticket prices in Qatar are the most expensive ever for World Cup games in the last 20 years, with those for the final 59% higher than 4 years ago, according to Keller Sports. As about 3 million tickets have already been sold, the total ticket revenue is estimated to be about $1 billion, £286 or $340 per seat. Cooling systems at all but one of the 8 stadiums being used at the World Cup are said to have dramatically increased construction costs, as designers put in place technology that would keep players, supporters, and the World Cup pitches at a suitable temperature. The turf to be used in the World Cup pitches has been grown in special nurseries using imported grass seeds and requires to be kept cool and well watered in order to stay in good condition for football amid the arid Qatari climate. Elsewhere, an entire city has been constructed around Lusail Stadium. Lusail City will feature 22 hotels and enough housing for 200,000 residents, as well as a theme park, 2 marinas, and 2 golf courses. Al Bayt Stadium. An enormous Arabic tent was the main inspiration for its exterior. The construction began in November 2015, and by the end of 2021, it was opened. Al Bayt will hold the very first game of the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. That is why its construction reportedly cost $847 million. The stadium, located in Al Khor City, will host 1 match in each in the round of 16, quarterfinal, and semifinal, apart from the group stages. The stadium will have a capacity of 60,000, but after the 2022 World Cup, it will be converted into a 32,000-seater stadium. Education City Stadium. The landscape around Education City Stadium is dotted with leading universities, where cutting-edge research is conducted with academics inspire their students to be at their best. Its work started in 2015, and the venue was opened in 2020. Like most of the Qatar 2022 stadiums, it offers advanced cooling techniques. It was one of the most expensive projects of the upcoming FIFA World Cup with a cost of $700 million. Ahmad bin Ali Stadium. Located in the boundaries of the desert, this venue was built over the original Al Rayyan Stadium, which was demolished in 2015. Qatar's Supreme Committee for Delivery and Legacy, or SC, shared that almost 90% of the materials generated from the demolition were reused. It was opened just in December 2020, and its reported cost was about $360 million. 974 Stadium. It has become the first temporary and then the demountable venue in the history of the FIFA World Cup. Qatar 2022 will enjoy its peculiar facade made with 974 shipping containers. It is also known as Ras Abu Aboud Stadium. The 40,000 capacity stadium is scheduled to host around 7 matches during the World Cup, up to the round of 16 stages. The construction cost of this venue remains uncertain. Al Thumama Stadium. Al Thumama Stadium is dynamic, empowering, and truly imaginative. In keeping with all of Qatar's FIFA World Cup 2022 venues, this arena has been designed to celebrate Arab culture and traditions, just as much as the tournament itself. The stadium's bold circular form reflects a gafia, a traditional woven cap adorned by men and boys all across the Middle East for centuries. The cost of its Qatar 2022 construction was about $342 million. Al Janoub Stadium. In 2014, the works of this venue began. Its roof is very related to sea motifs, as was inspired by the sails of the traditional dhow boats. The stadium has opened its seats to the public in 2019. Al Janoub Stadium was designed by British-Iraqi architect Zaha Hadid. The stadium is slated to be used as a local community venue after the competition. Reportedly, its cost was about $656 million. Khalifa International Stadium. Khalifa International Stadium is located in the west of Doha, roughly 10 kilometers from central Doha and 18 kilometers from the Pearl development further north. The stadium was built to serve as the flagship venue for the 1976 Golf Cup that was held in Qatar and could initially hold 20,000 spectators. The refurbishment cost was reported at $374 million. Lusail Stadium. The last game of the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 will be held here, which is why this venue had to be impressive. It met expectations. Its exterior design replicates bowls, vessels, and other art pieces of the Arab and Islamic world. Its construction began in 2017, and it will be opened in 2022 with a reported cost of $767 million. So this was the most expensive FIFA World Cup in history. Have you ever been to one of these soccer games before? Please feel free to share your experience in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, then please click that like button and subscribe to get notified about the latest videos and luxury trends. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.